This guy looks like a funny, bald, fat guy, but he racked up a record of 58 knockouts and became a world boxing champion. He hated Butterbeans, and that's why he got his colorful nickname. He once competed with both of his sons in the same tournament, and after his career ended, he became a deputy sheriff, and even casted in a Witcher movie. Eric Scott Esch was born on August 3, 1966, in the city of Atlanta in the American South. From the beginning, his life was not good. When he was 8 years old, his mother died, and the boy's appearance was the cause of eternal ridicule at school. Since his youth, Esch was obese, even fat. Losing my mom was devastating to my mind. At school, I wasn't kicked around by anyone but a lazy person. I always didn't understand why they bullied me. I was a normal, positive guy and didn't pick on anyone. Esch got into boxing by pure chance. Eric was 18 years old when his firstborn son, Brandon, was born to him and his girlfriend. In 1988, their second son, Caleb, was born. The financial issue came to the forefront. The young guy had to move from one job to another to provide for his family. He worked part-time at a factory producing flooring, and one day learned from his colleagues about a local amateur boxing tournament. It was open to everyone, regardless of age or fitness level. Eric realized that this was his chance. However, it wasn't that simple. His weight was 188 kilograms, and the weight limit for the participants of the competition was 181 kilograms. The future boxer went on a strict diet consisting of chicken and beans. It was the cheapest meal he could afford. He managed to reduce his weight to 397 pounds and won the tournament, knocking out 4 opponents during 2 days of competition. I was scared shitless of them, and they were scared of me. I mean, the way I looked. They put gloves on me and all the protection. I came out, lifted his head with my left hand, and hit him with my right. The blow wasn't hard, but the guy went down. I realized that day that I had power in my hands. His friends turned his diet into a joke. During his first fight, they started yelling, "Butterbeans, Butterbeans, Butterbeans, Butterbeans." The audience, assuming that was the fighter's name, also began chanting Butterbean. The nickname stuck instantly, and under it, Eric Scott Esch became known all over the world. All this happened in the 90s. Eric took part in 4 more such tournaments and won them all. In 1991, the big guy was noticed by his manager, Art Dorr, known for his work with former world champion Murray Sutherland. Murray himself taught Esch the basics of boxing. Eric learned quickly, while gaining experience in amateur fights. After finishing his career in amateurs with a record of 56 wins, 36 of them by knockout, and 5 losses, he thought about professional boxing. But there was one big problem. Esch, who got the nickname Butterbean, quickly tired. The huge mass required incredible energy expenditure. In consultation with his manager, they decided not to box in bouts which are more than 6 rounds. Butterbean made his professional ring debut on October 15, 1994. His second fight was broadcast on national television. Popularity caught up with me instantly. My second fight was shown on a national channel. It was awesome. Even Mike Tyson wasn't on TV until the 5th or 6th fight. Everybody was staring at me like an elephant in a zoo. Esch's second and third fights were in a 6-round format. He won both, but after the third fight, almost passed out from fatigue and shortness of breath. Art Dorr decided that 4 rounds was more than enough. Up until 2001, Butterbean fought exclusively in 4-round format fights. The American public adored the big guy. He had his own cadre of fans who attended every one of his fights. He became known as the King of 4-round fights. Out of his 77 victories in professional boxing, he won 58 of them by knockout. The IBA Heavyweight Championship belt also speaks volumes. The first fight with a knockout took place in 1995 and became the 15th in Esch's professional career. Eric's opponent was a fighter named Louis Monaco. The difference in weight was 4 kilograms under Esch's attack. The fighters had already met a year earlier and drew the fight. The weight difference was even more impressive, 46 kilograms. This time Esch started the fight cautiously, while his opponent immediately went on the attack. Throughout the first round, the opponents cheerfully exchanged series of punches. In the second round, the first bell rang for Cowboy, sloppy hovering in the attack. He hit the left side and went into a knockdown. After the referee's countdown, Eaton went on the offensive and spent the rest of the round trading punches with his opponent. In the third segment, the fighters had a great exchange, which made the crowd roar, and for good reason. At the end of the round, Esch caught Cowboy and knocked him down again. And immediately after the fight resumed, Butterbean knocked out Eaton with a powerful series of punches, ending the fight. In 2000, defending his IBA championship belt, Esch met George Lindberger. Their fight took place in Las Vegas. The fight ended almost instantly, with Eric sending his opponent to sleep with 3 taps. 2 body punches distracted Lindberger, and a left hook ended the fight by knocking him out. Butterbean took 19 seconds to do it all. Eric Esch once knocked out a referee, totally by accident, but it happened in 1995 in the state of Louisiana, when Esch boxed Pat Jackson. That, by the way, was also an obese fighter, and weighed only 19 kilograms less than Eric. During the first round, Jackson worked perfectly, keeping at a distance and not letting his opponent reach himself with his killer hooks. But when they got close, he immediately started to clinch, forcing the referee to separate the fighters. In the second round, everything was the same, but the tired rivals began to hang on to each other more. In the third round, Eric found the key to Jackson. He began to beat off the body of his tired opponent and almost wore him down when the unexpected happened. The gong caught Esch during a series of hooks, and the referee, who rushed to separate the fighters, got under one of them. The referee immediately went into a knockout. In the end, Butterbean was awarded the victory. His opponent refused to continue the fight. Most of his opponents were newcomers. However, there were also some very tough guys. For example, Peter McNeely, who had been competing at the top level of his heavyweight division for a long time. Esch knocked out Peter already in the first round. Butterbean's main weapon was his crazy right-hand punch. For a guy weighing 170 kilograms, he had good speed and mobility. In 2002, Eric entered the ring against the famous Larry Holmes. The fight lasted 10 rounds, following the results of which Esch lost by judges' decision. Butterbean continued to perform in the professional ring, in parallel trying himself in other combat sports. Eric Esch has not only participated in boxing fights, he entered the ring under the rules of mixed martial arts and did so quite successfully. Of 26 fights, he won 15, and all by finish. And he fought not only with opponents of comparable size, there were among them real giants. For example, James Thompson, nicknamed Colossus, who towered over him by 15 centimeters. The Colossus lasted only 43 seconds. After a few scouting punches, Esch hit a great overhand, catching his opponent, and then scraped him on the nose with another overhang, dropping him to the ground, where he finished him off, forcing the referee to stop the fight. Thompson didn't even realize it though, and after the stoppage he tried to pass his opponent in one leg. But an even more intimidating opponent of Eric was the Brazilian Zuluzinho. And here the dimensions were not in Esch's favor. His opponent was 20 centimeters taller and 5 kilograms heavier. A true battle of giants. The fight took place at Pride 34 in 2007. From the first seconds, the huge guys put up a beating, delighting the Japanese audience. After a good hit, the Brazilian realized that there was nothing to catch in the exchange and dropped his opponent to the canvas. Butterbean cleverly got out from under his opponent and began to kick his face and body, and then broke Zuluzinho's arm, forcing him to give up. In 2003, Butterbean tried his hand at K1 kickboxing. He won 3 fights and lost 4 times. It was the sport he had the hardest time with. With wrestling, it was all difficult. If in boxing I managed to keep my distance, in K1 it was difficult. I tried everything. It was a good experience. Esch had won Sumo Rules bout against the famous Bob Sapp. Butterbean also had 1 bout under professional wrestling rules. Was I the best anywhere? Never. It doesn't matter. I provided for my family. That's the main thing. I started my life as a fat loser, and now the whole world knows me. In 2009, the tournament was marked by a funny feature. The thing is that both of Eric's sons followed in their father's footsteps, taking up mixed martial arts. And at this tournament, they all stepped into the ring. The eldest, Brandon Esch, nicknamed Baby Bin, lost by technical knockout, but his brother Caleb defeated his opponent with only 16 seconds to spare. Daddy also won his fight by choking out his opponent, Chris Kruta. Unlike his father, the boys' fighting careers are not going so well so far. In 2002, the comedy Jackass the Movie was released, a sequel to the series of the same name that ran on American cable television. Eric Esch was invited to participate in one of the episodes of the tape, which was called Boxing in a Department Store. During this segment, completely unprepared actor Johnny Knoxville tried to fight with the boxer. Really. Of course, with unfortunate consequences for himself. I had a great time doing this movie. You know, when I signed the contract, I thought it was a real scripted movie. I didn't know anything about Jackass or what they were doing. And when I got there, they said, "We really want you to knock him out." I said, "Are you telling me this isn't a scenario?" And Esch really had to fight the actor. In a couple of punches, he knocked the unfortunate man out easily and effortlessly. Having accumulated money during his sports career, Esch opened a restaurant in his town called Mr. Bean Barbecue. Besides this, Eric became a deputy of the local sheriff. The image of an irrepressible fat man was so loved by the public that it began to be used in animation. He can be seen in such cartoons as Ugly Eye and Octopussy. In games, the image of Eric Esch took root even better. The cover of the game Tough Man Contest, released on Sega consoles, depicts Butterbean in his famous American flag shorts. The game is based on a rookie boxing tournament of the same name that took place on American television. But the funniest cameo came from Esch in the first The Witcher. In the second chapter, in the tavern, Geralt can participate in fistfights, and one of his opponents, suspiciously large and chubby, is called Butterbean. Butterbean was repeatedly accused of contract fights. The Baltimore Sun reported in 1999 that Esch had increased his earnings from $600 per fight to $60,000 by knocking out opponents. 2 anonymous opponents and 2 commissioners said that at least 4 of Butterbean's fights were contract fights. The boxer himself, of course, denied everything. Eric Esch currently lives in the town of Jasper with his wife, Libby, several sheep, and ducks. Their 3 children, Brandon, Caleb, and Grace, live nearby. Butterbean was thought to enjoy spending time with his grandchildren more than anything else. But earlier this summer, it was reported that Esch was ready to remember his fighting past and return to the ring. "I'm going to have my last fight. It's going to happen in 2023. Jake Paul, if you're ready, I'm waiting for you, my friend. Let's do it." What do you think about this fight? Share your thoughts in the comments section and subscribe to the channel.